A new fire on a new night. Traveling the stolen lands gives one the feeling that they are experiencing everything for the first time. An untouched clearing, a riverbed ground fine and smooth, the raw sparkle of stars wheeling overhead. Almost ashamed to tame it. You bring savagery to heal, yes, but the beauty soon follows. The rangers return with enough game for the night. Our pioneers sit around the fire, their companionship an easier thing after a few days and nights of travel. Owynn had spent an hour or so away from the group, seemingly writing in his book all the while. One could assume he was being ignorant again, until eventually he came back to the fire with a page ripped out, which turned out to be a sketch. Jasper Pinethrone stood by the fire in his newfound armor. The fur wasn't like Owynn's, but the challenge of drawing it proved quite fun. Jasper was standing one foot on a log, the other foot on the ground, propping himself up with the handle of his weapon, which was pushed against the floor. By all means the sketch wasn't a masterpiece, but Owynn clearly displayed skill in his art. Your fur is bothersome to draw. No offense to you, of course. I imagine it's quite the pain to go through as well. He paused, looking on at the champion with quite a few things to say running through his mind, most of which were far from friendly. May I talk with you? Privately. The whelp desires some form of discussion. Ha, a child's interpretation of judgment perhaps. A diatribe on the principles of clerical discipline. One can only imagine. Jasper takes the drawing, initially skeptical, but visibly impressed the more he looked at it. He folds it with care, placing it in a worn journal with various other papers and a few pressed flowers before turning back to Owynn. It can be nothing I'm not used to. Wrangling my siblings on, never mind, that's not important. Jasper shakes his head, gesturing for Owynn to continue. No doubt the cleric had opinions to share, seemed he had a great deal of them. On the other hand, he did doubt that the conversation would stay entirely private. Saki seemed the eavesdropping sort, very much a troublemaker, if a well-intentioned one. But that was fine, he was familiar with that. Owynn's demeanor, less so. Lead the way. Owynn starts making his way into a small clearing a little while away. He'd find a sizable rock and gesture for Jasper to sit, all the while eyeing him carefully. He could sense the wary nature, and rightfully so, Owynn being well aware of the energy he gives off. He himself decides to stand, whether to keep on his guard or not dirty his robes or another unknown reason. Regardless, he would nonetheless. Do you have any idea why I wanted to pull you aside, champion? I want to see if you're as observant as I believe you to be. Given your tone, I can make a guess. Since you've made your thoughts on the assassin more than clear in front of everyone, it can't be that. While Owynn's offer of a place to sit is clear, he doesn't take it. His brow furrows as he thinks before a detail he overlooked clicks into place. Owynn would be familiar with the undead as well, the unholy energy they exude. No, I think you're familiar with the tenets of serenity, aren't you? Imagine you've studied quite a bit. Already he's irritated, but trying to keep some level of composure. He was prepared to answer for his mistake to a higher power, not a near stranger. Quite familiar. Such is the life of a bookwork. He takes the seat himself, though still keeps his eyes on Jasper. That, and your people are very blatantly known for their selflessness, preaching the good and showing those kindness even when kindness shouldn't be given. It's noble, which is why I am concerned about what happened back in that manor. He props himself upright and throws on a mocking tone, provide aid to the sick and wounded, they say. He laughs at how stupid he sounded as his voice returns to natural. Such silly morals. The laughter, however, was short-lived, replaced by an almost threatening tone afterwards. And yet, you were fully content letting that woman in need of us die. I'm sure you're smart enough to see the contradiction, champion. Should such cowardice be expected in the future? I'd prefer to know now. A priest making assumptions about another's beliefs and intentions? How odd. Unheard of. Heh, heh heh.